maintain,
Good morning. I'm Earl Stewart. I welcome you to Earl Stewart with Cars, a live talk show all about how to buy, lease, maintain, or repair your car without being ripped off by a car dealer. With me in the studio is Nancy Stewart, my wife, co-host, and a strong consumer advocate, especially for the female listeners. We also have Rick Kearney, an expert on how to keep your car running right. I dare you to ask a question that Rick can't answer about the mechanics or electronics of your car. Also with us is my son, Stewart. Our link to cyberspace through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope. Stu is also the Spymaster Director for our Mystery Shopping Report. He dispatches our Secret Shopper weekly to an unsuspecting self-loaded dealership. And now, on with the show. Hi, everybody. This is the live Earl. You were just listening to the recorded Earl. My full name is Earl Stewart. I'm a recovering car dealer, as in kind of a recovering addict sort of a thing. It's a self-deprecating kind of a term I've learned to love because it accurately describes my life. I've been a car dealer since 68, hard to believe. 1968. It's stuck in my throat. That's a long time ago. And I used to do business the bad way, the wrong way, the, what can you say, bait and switch type of advertising and deceptive sales practices, all the things that we talk about on this show. If you're new to the show, I just want you to know this really is a good show. If you drive a car, buy a car, lease, maintain, repair, it really is. It is a minefield out there in the world of the consumer when you're bringing your car into independent repair or car dealerships. The way cars are sold today is the same way cars were sold back in the 50s, 1950s. And that's when I got into the business, 1968. We're frozen in time. I say we, I am a car dealer. In full transparency and disclosure, I still have a car dealership. And I want to make it perfectly clear that this show is not an infomercial. I am not going to try to sell you a car. I have a car dealership. That's a separate business. Actually, I'm more of a consumer advocate today, and that's what this show is all about. I want to say this as quickly as possible. You make the show, and you make the show by calling the show, and we have various avenues that you can reach us and talk to us, ask us questions, make comments, criticisms. We almost have too many ways to reach us, but I mean that just kind of tongue-in-cheek, because there can't be too many ways to hear what you have to say. Without you, we don't have a show. Without you, I'm up here talking, and Nancy and Stu and Rick, we're yakking. But we want to know what you are curious about and what you maybe have a problem with, even if the problem is us. So you can call us at 877-960-9960. You can call us on the regular telephone at 877-960-9960. Write the number down, please. You might not have a question right now or a comment, but you will if you hang around for a while. And we're going to be on the air for 2 hours. So 877-960-9960. Text seems to be the communication of choice. I guess as technology changes, people like to text, and I do too. I mean, I'd much rather text somebody or receive a text than have to get on the phone and talk, because with a text you can stop when you want to.
That's right.
And you can watch a text, you can read a text when you want to, and you don't have to linger. You can read it fast, read it slow. So text us at 772-497-6530. That's area code 772-497-6530. And I ask you to write the text number down too. Area code 772-497-6530. And wait, there's more. Facebook. Yes, Facebook. Facebook.com/Earl on Cars. We're live in living color right here at True Oldies. And you can see the whole studio and my beautiful co-host Nancy Stewart, my not so beautiful mechanical expert Rick Kearney. I'm only kidding, Rick. You are beautiful. And my son Stu, you're definitely beautiful. We're all beautiful. You can't see Jonathan, but he's beautiful too. So Facebook.com/Earl on Cars, or you can go to YouTube, you can go to Periscope, you can go to Twitter, and I'm probably leaving something out. And that's why we're here. We also have anonymous feedback. I was leaving that out.
Reading my mind.
Anonymous feedback. We were talking about this before we went on the air. And it's kind of a new dimension in communication because we don't know who you are. I mean, I just said half seriously, or not, wasn't. I was just kidding. I wasn't even half serious. That Jonathan could be sending in all the anonymous feedbacks, or Nancy,
all the mean
or I
ones.
could be doing it. We don't know. We don't know who's doing it. So it's kind of cool because it gives you any kind of protection, privacy, whatever you want to call it. Your anonymousfeedback.com. Your, Y-O-U-R, anonymous, A-N-O-N-Y-M-O-U-S, feedback, you know how to spell feedback.com. Your anonymousfeedback.com. And we're getting more and more of those. And it's good. I mean, if they're phony, Rick and I were just saying, even if you get a phony anonymous feedback, if it's an interesting question that other people are interested in, that's okay. So there are the avenues for communication. Without you using those avenues, we really don't have ourselves an interesting show at all. Oh, and I got one more thing. I know I'm going on and on, but I gotta reemphasize our mystery shopping report. We get used to it because we do it every week. We've been doing this for 15 years. But every week we send out an undercover agent to some car dealership in South Florida. It's really cool. And we go in there, pretend to buy or lease a car. We respond to an advertisement, or we check to see if they're trying to sell cars with dangerous recalls. We try to see how they treat our mystery shopper, because that's how they're going to treat you. And that's probably the way they've already treated you, and maybe you didn't even realize it. Undercover agent mystery shopping report, and it will be in the second half of the show. And we have a list that we compile of recommended dealers and dealers we do not recommend, pretty much based on how they treated mystery shoppers. And we go back and repeatedly, because if we have a really good shop, we follow up just to be sure. With all that said, I'm going to introduce my wife, Nancy Stewart. She's my co-host, and she's been doing this with me for a long time. And Nancy will tell you a little bit about what she's about on the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fantastic show. I feel the energy this morning, and that energy comes from you. And without you, as Earl stated earlier, we don't have a show. So I send out a special thank you to all of you. Now, as far as what I do on the show, I share a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, but you do the same whenever you give us a call. And with that said, I extend $50 to the first 2 new lady callers, and that is your gift for giving us a call. The first 2 new lady callers, you receive $50. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960.
Can I jump in and say why we do this? Because we have men out there that complain about it, and I can understand why they're complaining. But
we got one this morning.
Yeah, well, good.
Wait,
And we'll give him an opportunity to speak up, but we want parity, we want equality, and when we started the show, there were 100% men calling. So we're trying to prime the pump, and when a woman hears another woman call, they call, and we're pretty much, we're very close to 50-50, and we're not quite there yet, but we want more women to call. So it's an encouragement. We're not trying to discriminate against the men. We love the men callers, but we want to have half the people in the world are women, and half the people in the world buying cars and repairing cars are women. So we'd love to hear their input.
Yeah, there's a lot of ladies on the road, and to what Earl just said, Tina and Nancy can't be the only 2 females, the leaders of the pack, to build this platform. And to the gentlemen, when it becomes 50-50, we will no longer extend that $50. So you have that to look forward to. Again, youranonymousfeedback.com. We'd love to hear what you have to say on any level. And just a little footnote, Nancy at EarlOnCars.com. I've received a lot of text messages and emails this week, so you can take advantage of that also. Again, that number is 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to our first female caller, and she's a regular. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Hey,
Great.
good morning.
I watched a really interesting video from Scotty Kilmer. I don't always totally agree with everything he says, but this one kind of got my attention. This is especially valid for people that are shopping for a used car. And he was talking about the flood car problem because in Houston, where he lives, they had horrible problems with flooding just recently. And as summer continues and hurricane season continues, we're going to see more flood cars. I know it sounds like a mantra along with the airbag thing. But he said that if you are shopping for a used car, when you start the car up, all of the auxiliary lights should come on momentarily. And if you start the car up and the check engine light does not come on, walk away from that vehicle. Because what some of these unscrupulous used car dealers will do is they will deliberately disable or cover over the check engine light. And a flood car generally will keep the check engine light on for obvious reasons, but if you even if you turn the key on to the auxiliary position, if the check engine light's not on, walk away from it. He says it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Wow, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Is that right, Rick? That is that easy to disable it? I mean, you can just turn it off.
Well, it's basically they take the combination meter apart and either remove the bulb or the circuit to it. Taking the bulb out is the easiest thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great tip, Tina. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's 100% correct.
Yep, and there was over 10,000 flood cars declared in Houston just this month from that tropical depression they got. So there's a big
I
flood.
didn't know that.
Wow.
Tina.
Yeah, if Houston got hit again, after I think it was Maria a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They got hit so bad there were cars and city buses floating.
Floating.
They
I
were
saw
literally
that.
being moved around by the water.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, they'll be pouring in, that's for sure, to the state of Florida.
Literally.
Fire.
No
beware.
pun intended.
Pretty good.
Well, thank you, Tina.
And there's also a link that I sent you to Jalopnik. Jalopnik had a good article just recently about what you need to do to outsmart a used car dealer. So
Jalopnik,
I
that's
just
a good
felt it was
site.
interesting. It's too long to discuss right now. It would just take too much time, but it would be interesting to go through some of the bullet points and maybe go over them as the show progresses.
Yeah, it's a minefield out there, and the more informed you are, the better chance you have, especially in minefield with a used car. I give out this general tip, whether you're talking used car or potential flood cars, is just find a good technician somewhere, and independent of the place that you might be buying that vehicle, and just have them check it out. A good technician will be able to tell you in probably about 15, 20 minutes of inspection whether or not the car's had water damage, flood damage.
Yeah, if he's
Here's the catch,
specifically
though.
looking for that right off, he could do it that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the catch, though. I remember one time a few years ago when I was looking to buy a used car, that the seller, he said, well, you only get the car for 15 minutes. And he wouldn't let somebody on the lot. So if somebody that's selling you a car tries to pull that on you, then you know not to buy a car from them at all. If that's
Exactly.
the conditions that you're under for trying to look at that used car.
Yeah, that's a red flag right there. Only got 15 minutes to look at the car. Right. Take me 15 minutes to drive over to my mechanic. Well,
Exactly.
Thanks so much, Tina. You are a sterling leader, a female caller, and you encourage others. People hear you and other women call. And we can't thank you enough for being a regular caller at Earl Stewart on Cars.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tina.
And ladies, join the tribe.
There you
We
go.
don't fight.
Amen.
We're friendly.
Thank you, Tina. We look forward to hearing from you again next week. And to what Tina said and Earl said, with the power of the internet today, there are less men, consumers getting taken advantage of. And as far as a vehicle used, you can, take it for a drive for 15 minutes or stare at it for 15 minutes. I think that's few and far between. As I said, the power of the internet and us here at Earl Stewart on Cars, we share a lot of information with you. So with all of that said, you are an important part of the show. Give us a call, 877-960-9960, or you can text us 772-497-65 Now
Tina,
back to the recovering car dealer.
Tina's comment is a perfect example of why you are so important. Now, she calls every week, and she comes up with some good things, and I have to say, I've been in the business a long time. I've heard most of it before. I never thought, shame on me. I never thought about taking the bulb out of the check engine light. It's so simple, so easy to do.
You wish you had thought of that 30 years ago.
When I was evil.
Yeah.
But just think about it. You have a car, and you're thinking about selling it, or maybe you're not, you have a car, and check engine light comes on, so you go over to AutoZone, and you get their free tool, and they plug it in, and they say, you have a serious problem here, and this is probably going to cost you a couple $1,000. You're going to have to get it fixed. You say, okay. You go home, you unscrew the bulb, you go into your favorite car dealer, and you say, I want to trade this in. He cranks it up, check engine light doesn't come on anymore because the bulb's gone. So he gets another couple $1,000 for his trade-in. So something as simple as that. Now, my question to Rick, how do you check to see if someone's taken the bulb out of the check engine light on the car you're looking at?
Just like Tina said, all cars, all the bulbs on the combination meter, the idiot lights, all have what's called a bulb check. When you turn the key to the on position, for the first couple seconds, all those lights should come on, and then they'll go back off.
I forgot.
And that's simply to test the bulb to show you, hey, these are working. Now we're turning them back off. If they come on again, there's a problem.
I can't believe I've been starting cars for a long time. And when all those lights came on, it never occurred to me.
That one got past you.
I thought it was just because the manufacturers were cheap and they wanted to annoy you and they didn't care.
That's why they did.
But there's a good reason for that.
It's also because maybe
it's just to annoy you.
Well, maybe one of those bulbs has just burned out from age or time.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? Now I have something else in the arsenal that I might even do a blog article on.
There you go. There you go.
Fantastic.
I'm going to jump on this one. We're talking about the engine light. This is from Heather, and I received this at Nancy at Earl on Cars. And Heather and her mom took their car over to Napleton Hyundai.
Bob, we know you're holding, and we'll be right with you. Thank you very much for calling.
This will take a minute. So they took their car over to Napleton Hyundai because the engine light was on, and good people at Napleton Hyundai asked them to leave their vehicle overnight. And with that said, they got a phone call the next morning with a laundry list of items that was wrong with that car that totaled $4,000.
Wow.
So her, footnote here to us, stay away from Napleton Hyundai.
And then, we have to say, this is hearsay. This is a Heather hearsay call. And she says it was Napleton Hyundai, but we don't want to be unfair. When we do a mystery shopping report, we endorse it because we're the ones that are instigating it. But
we can certify it.
I want to go on record of saying that for any of the callers, we will pass along your comments, but we have to put in, it is hearsay, third party.
Yeah. Napleton Honda.
And with that said, Heather, let's confirm this. Give me a call. 561-386-6498. I'd like to confirm that information that you just passed along to me. We're going to go to Bob, who's holding in Palm Beach Gardens. Good morning, Bob.
How are you? I wanted to thank Earl. 4 years ago, I was living on a small island, and I had a RAV4 with the steering on the opposite side, but the manual was in Japanese. And he said he would look into it and see what he can do, and lo and behold, about a month later, I got the manual.
Wow. It's a shame about being an old guy like me. I forgot about that.
It kind of rings a bell.
And I really appreciate you calling me, Bob, because all sorts of exciting things have happened in my life that I need to be reminded of. But that is interesting. Do you mind telling us which island you're on?
I was on Montserrat.
Yeah.
That's right off Antigua.
With the volcano.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah, that's it, the volcano island.
Yeah.
Are you back in?
But I'm back here now.
Back on the mainland. Well, that's great. Well, thanks for the call.
And I'll be in your showroom this Thursday looking.
Wonderful.
Oh, great, Bob.
Well, thank you very much. Great call. I'll be darned.
I kind of remember that.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That rings a bell for sure.
Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960, or you can text us 772-497-6530.
Well, we need to let's talk a little bit about mystery shopping reports and cyber stuff, Stu. We talked to introduce Nancy, and you can introduce yourself.
Well, about 10 years ago, I thought that we would run out of subjects to mystery shop, and it just never ends. So there's a little bit of stress every week when trying to figure out, number one, what are we going to investigate? Lately, it's been Takata airbag recalls. So
Yeah, we got anonymous feedback that said we'd overdone that, and I reluctantly confessed I think we have overdone a little bit, but it's just a passion that we have for it. But we don't want to bore our audience.
No, I think it's very important. So it's okay, I think, if we spice it up with some other topics here and there. But we never run out of material, whether it's Takata airbag recalls or if it's advertising or anything else that catches our eye during the week. But it's a lot of fun, and it's really informative. I mean, because we're really getting the heart of it. It's not our opinion. We're not speculating. We're getting firsthand reports of what's going on in car dealerships all over Florida. And eventually, I'd like to see if we can get Agent Thunder doing some more long-distance things. If long-time listeners to the show remember, Agent X was our long-time veteran mystery shopper, and we sent him everywhere. And he went up to Pensacola and did a dealership up there right near the Alabama-Florida border. And he was over on the West Coast, Miami, Homestead, you name it. So
I got an email from a recommendation for a shopping report in Miami for a Chevrolet dealer. And they sent me, they put it on ain'tgonnahappen.com. And it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And that's a long ways, but we'll put them on the checklist. We might do it. Do we have a caller?
We do. Samantha's calling. Good morning, Samantha, from Port St. Lucie.
hey there.
Good morning, Samantha.
Samantha, did we lose you? I apologize if we did. I was kind of hoping we were on a roll here with the phones. We've had chronic problems with our phones. If we hung up on you inadvertently, we apologize. If you'll call back, we will stop immediately and take your call. Samantha and Port St. Lucie, our apologies, but please call back.
Yeah, going back on the mystery shopping reports, if we get tips from the listeners, that's great. I mean, that gives us, makes it a lot easier for me, at least, to find a target. And if something like really horrendous happens somewhere, let us know. Just, text us on the text line or email us at stu@earloncars.com. Just get in touch with us, and we'll check out that dealer. So this week, it was pretty much a doozy. I don't want to tease it too much.
Excuse me, Stu. Samantha, are you with us again?
I think it's
she hung up. There was a disconnect, and then okay, go ahead, Stu.
I'm here.
Hey,
Samantha. Oh, thanks for calling back. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning. How are you doing today?
We're well, thank you.
Okay, my question is, what is the average time that you should wait to change your windshield wiper fluid?
Well, that's a good question.
When it runs out. That's how I do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Our expert here, Rick, you see him all the time. Answer this. What is the average time? And I know it varies because some people are meticulous about their windshields. Others aren't so meticulous. But what, 30-day supply?
I've actually never changed washer fluid. It's simply, when the washer fluid gets low, we simply add to it. Some folks use a lot of washer fluid as they're driving. Other folks hardly ever use the washers.
I use a lot. I washer fluid. I'm always washing my.
Yeah,
Samantha.
I hate having bugs and spots on the screen, so I'm.
That's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I refill. I mean it. I'm very passionate about it. Maybe it's my age or the fact that I do have to be able to see what's in front of me. But at any rate, I faithfully refill my windshield wiper fluid. Often, and it has a whole lot to do also with where you live. I think if you're in a neighborhood where there's always construction, without going through the laundry list of things that you need to pay attention to, it's all dependent on how often you fill your window washer fluid. And also, I have a little recipe I put together, and it works a little more efficiently than some windshield wiper fluids that you can purchase.
Okay.
And that's it.
What's the recipe?
Yes.
Egg whites,
Keep us hanging.
confectioner's sugar,
Inquiring minds want to know.
potato juice.
To be continued. I put my Greens Plus in there.
Do you really? I run out all the time. We have so much salt in the air here, so like every day. I mean, I start pretty much every trip with a good wash of the windshield, and I run out, I think, more than the average bear does.
Yeah, well, you'll try to figure this out. I keep my car in a garage, and so does Earl. And I use an enormous amount of windshield wiper fluid.
You're a clean freak.
I just had a great idea. You ready, Samantha? Listen to this.
A gauge.
Your call prompted one of my ingenious revelations.
I knew something was spinning around in there.
I hope all the manufacturers are listening, because what we do is we take the condensate from the air conditioner and we run it into
and replenish it.
And you have a little pod in there that, if you want to spice it up with a little detergent kind of a thing, and just a little bit. But the auto manufacturer comes up with, you have an endless washer fluid, and you never have to take the time to replace it.
And when you get a fuel cell vehicle, the exhaust can replenish the reservoir too.
Exactly. What do you think about that, Samantha?
Pretty genius.
Thank you. And I'm going to split the profits on this. Will be the Samantha Earl.
On top of the $50.
There you go. You have all my information. I'll be looking forward to it.
And we need your contact
Several
information,
billion.
because you get $50 for calling in. So we'll have that,
plus
and you and I will be
several billion
partners
in
on this.
Yeah, best phone call of my life.
You're rich.
As of today, your life has been changed.
Thank you
Also-
so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Stay on the line so
You're
that
welcome.
we can get your contact
And
information.
also, for the record, PSI, those tires, your pressure in your tires is so important to check, and that's another, I'm just a fanatic as far as that's concerned. So, Samantha, thank you for entertaining us, and thank you for calling Earl Stewart on Cars.
Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, you too.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.
Bye.
I wasn't kidding about that.
No, that's a really good idea.
I mean, stop and
One
think
of your
about
better
it.
ones.
What is more? I'm one of these. I'm not about. I always have something on my windshield, and I spray the water, and then I run out. Then, of course, I don't have to fill mine. Nancy will fill it for me, or I can take it into my
With her
dealership.
special recipe.
Yeah, I mean, but the average person has to interrupt their day, and either that, they run out, and they get a bug on there.
Did you
and
clarify what was on your windshield?
just everything.
From time to time?
Salt.
We know the
Salt's
rate
always on there.
of speed that you drive, but hey, I'm just saying. Okay.
Now, mine's really annoying because
I should patent that quickly, because everybody's going to.
you just said it publicly to like tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, I know, but nobody will act
That's the
on
only
it.
one that got that.
Samantha and I need to move quickly on this.
That's right. Yeah, what's really annoying is I got a little. As soon as I start my car when I'm low, it right there, low white, blocks all the other cool stuff in my car. Says low washer fluid. I got to get it changed.
Yeah.
We got some text piling up.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, the first batch came on our YourAnonymousFeedback.com website. First one says, and by the way, like we said, we don't want to make this a Toyota commercial, so I'm going to try and make this a little bit more generic when I read it. So I'm going to edit it slightly, but the gist will still be there. Good morning, Earl and Stu. I have a question about financing. Various manufacturers are currently advertising 0% interest on new various models. Is it true? Is it a true 0%, or are there monthly administration fees that make the loan an actual 2 to 4% car loan after adding up the loan fees? And the answer is no. It is a legitimate 0%. All the manufacturers offer a legitimate 0%. That's not to say there aren't possibly small loan origination fees or doc fees, like state doc stamps and things like that, which could effectively raise it, but it wouldn't be raising it to an actual 2 to 4% interest rate. It's actually, those are really good deals if they're coming from the manufacturer. If a dealer is offering 0%, be wary. It might not be legit.
Exactly.
Yep. The next one. Now, this one is about Toyotas, but it could be, this is definitely not a commercial. It says, good morning, my friends. I have a question about the push button to start Toyotas. If I accidentally left my car running, could a passerby break into my vehicle by breaking the window and then drive away, even though they don't have the fob on them? I'm going to say, yeah, probably, but Rick might say there could be an impact thing. He's looking at me.
Yes, they could.
Okay.
The only thing is that when they shut the car off, they wouldn't be able to restart it.
Okay. So for a quick joyride, watch out. But you probably shouldn't leave your car running anyway that long.
Right, but it also is a nice thing. Carjacking is actually a thing that happens even here in the U.S. quite often. So keep that smart key in your pocket, and if someone wants your car, let them have it, because once they shut it off, they can't move it again.
Yeah, don't leave it in the cup holder.
Exactly.
Okay, moving along. Question for Earl or Stu. How many keys does the new Corolla come with? I'm hearing rumors that Toyota is no longer giving 2 keys with a new car and trying to extort the car buyer into buying a wildly expensive second key. To answer that, first of all, yes, they are wildly expensive, the second keys. And your first part of the question is, on the new Corollas, yeah, they are coming with a key with a built-in remote and one just a standard key without a remote. And I guess in most cases that might be fine, but if you have somebody with 2 drivers on the same car, yeah, you're going to have to buy an extra key. And we don't know if this is a conspiracy or if this was just something they overlooked, but that's a real thing, and it's true. Yeah. It's not just Toyota; other manufacturers are going that route. It's probably to get costs down, and but it is a shame, because for the last 100 and something years, cars came with 2 keys.
Yeah. So is a cost saver?
Well, you get keys, but you don't have the remote thing, so you can manually open the door. But then the second driver loses a lot of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is that Ace Hardware and a lot of other companies are making remote keys that are far less than your dealer will charge you. The dealers, by the way, pay too much to the manufacturers. Yeah. Manufacturers are making a lot of money selling these remote keys to the dealers at wholesale, and of course the dealers mark them up to make a profit from you, and consequently people are paying anywhere from $200 to $700 or $800.
Your key for your Lexus is probably in that range.
Yeah. So you shop around and you'll be surprised if the number. What are some of the other? I mentioned Ace Hardware because that stuck with me, but what other sort of places can you buy remotes?
Home Depot?
For the remote keys, I think you'd wind up having to go to an automotive store. Home Depot, I'm pretty certain, only would have the basic key, and I don't think they can even do a chip key. But or actually, some of them I think can, but they'll clone the chip keys.
Ace Hardware is not automotive, and so
right. They're one of the few that I believe can do a remote.
Amazon. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Amazon. Yeah, Jonathan. How could we forget Amazon? Amazon has everything. So just
the only problem there is you got to get a key that's programmed to your car.
Yeah.
Whereas going to like an Ace Hardware, what they'll do is they'll clone the remote you have, so it will work on the same frequencies as a new one.
So you have to pay somebody to program it for you.
Right.
And what is the approximate time it takes to program a key?
Programming key in 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30, depending on the car.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What is the procedure that takes 30 minutes?
Because the computer systems now are designed where the computer actually has to go through a certain process, and then it, for no reason really in particular that I know of, it makes you sit and wait for 16 minutes on a Toyota with that computer connected into the car. It's the manufacturers just decided, we're going to put this timer in there to where you have to sit and allow it to do it. I think their excuse is that way if a car thief is trying to illegally program a key to your car, they can't do it in the 60 seconds and be gone. It has 16 minutes that it has to go through
the
car's
helps
computer.
The technician make money because while he's waiting, he's getting paid.
Yep. Well, you're being paid for the job, however much you're paid, because you're on commission. So
but as a flat rate time. So a flat rate is how much for programming a key? A half hour?
We get a half hour just to program just the key, and then a half hour for the remote.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So it is a security feature, is what they say, or is that published anywhere?
No, it's not published anywhere. It's more my belief is they're trying to make it to where
you can charge the full 30 minutes.
The car will not simply accept it in that quick 30-second thing. It has to be there for several minutes. I think
there got to be some mechanism for it to identify the location where this programming is going on, the IP address of the dealership. And if it's being done in the dealership, they should be able to do it in as fast as your internet speed will allow.
I would think so, too.
I don't know. All right. We got a question for Rick. Get ready. I recently became aware that we have a cockroach infestation in our garage. This came in on youranonymousfeedback.com. Although I don't park my car inside the garage, I noticed a tiny roach was walking on the inside of my Toyota Corolla. What I'm wondering is, what is the most likely way this roach was able to get inside my car? I never leave my windows down, and I never eat in my car. That's a great question. Never had that one before.
Well, before Rick answers, I will say this. Roaches can get into anything, no matter what. They'll get into a hermetically sealed steel box. I don't know how they do it. Anyway.
Roaches actually are the true masters of the world. They actually don't crawl into anything. They simply teleport. They have quantum mechanics and they can teleport.
Right.
So yeah, the roach simply teleported in. But in truth, there are so many different air vents and openings into your car that any animal could find its way in there. My advice, and this is my best advice I have for you, I've done it on a couple of cars when my own vehicle got infested with ants because I'd parked underneath a tree. Raid fumigators, the dry smoke fumigators. They come with a little plastic cup. You put about a 1/4 inch of water in it, then drop the canister in it, put these in your car, close the doors up, let it sit for about 4 or 5 hours, take them back out, open the windows, let it air out for a little while because that stuff is hard on the lungs. And you will not have any bugs left in your car. And if there's a potential for any other creepy crawlies, they will have left or died.
Exactly.
Great
I think
fumigator.
keeping boxes out of your vehicle is a big help.
Absolutely.
Boy, I'll tell you what, this is major food for roaches.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
cardboard boxes, they have the like roach eggs in there too, so be careful with that.
It's the glue they're actually going after.
Yeah, they love the glue. Just like mice love the soil on the wiring in your vehicle.
Yep.
There you go.
If water can get in your car, roaches can. Okay, this is the question I alluded to earlier. It came on youranonymousfeedback.com. It says, can you please donate $50 to Big Dog Ranch Rescue for every caller, regardless of gender? Thanks, Earl.
Well, we do donate a lot to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and we don't want people calling the show because they want to help the dogs. We want people calling the show because they want to answer, and that's what the show is. Every time you buy my book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, all the proceeds of that book, what is it, $20 or whatever it is,
$19.95
goes to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And thank you, because you're a dog lover out there. We're very big supporters of Big Dog Ranch Rescue. We just gave Big Dog Ranch Rescue a Highlander.
Yep.
And Big Dog Ranch Rescue took the Highlander. It was a 1970, or 1970. It was a
2003.
30. Yeah. It's basically when you're an old guy, you just go to 19. 19.
I did that last time.
2003. And we shipped it over there to drive around the island, Marsh Harbor, and pick up dogs.
Yeah.
So we love Big Dog Ranch Rescue.
A great
buy
cause.
buy the book, and that's a way we donate. And that way you get yourself a book on how not to get ripped off by your car dealer, plus you help the doggies.
Yeah.
100% Amazon, or you can go to earlsbook.com.
We're very
That
connected
car
with
went
Big
to the
Dog
Bahamas,
Ranch.
by the way.
Yeah.
You didn't mention the Bahamas part. You were a little caught on the date, but
Yeah, that
I said
on
it
the
Marsh
did
bar.
go to
Harbor.
the Bahamas.
I said Marsh Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and just to reiterate too, this will end. We will stop paying female callers $50 in the future when half or when we're seeing. Yeah, it's just an incentive. That's
As I
all.
stated earlier to our listeners, that day will come, and I think it'll come soon because we are really building that platform.
Okay, the next one is a little unusual, but I'm going to do my best to read it coherently. Earl! Exclamation point. I need to share with you something I heard John Cadigan from AutoExpert.com say in his video the other day regarding Jeep Chrysler. Those 7-slot crap heap still compliant with Hannibal Lecter Retail Code of Ethics. If you're thinking of buying a Jeep, see a doctor stat because your medication is no longer effective. That is not a Jeep fan.
Yeah, people get passionate about their vehicles. I really have mixed emotions about Jeep because Consumer Report and you've heard me say this many times, they have high repair cost, they have safety issues, maintenance issues, but but they are so sexy that people love them. And don't take that as just the only reason, because if you have a great demand relative to supply, the resale value goes up. So normally when you have a junky vehicle, the depreciation is great, and and you lose money after you buy it. If you buy a Jeep, other than the insurance cost and the repair cost and the maintenance cost, which are considerable, your resale value is very good in a Jeep. And plus you enjoy it, and you see people in Jeeps, they're all smiling.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
They're having more fun than I am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I see them on the road and I go, why can't I have that life?
Yeah,
But as a purist, I agree, it is not a good vehicle.
it's like a mindset.
Yeah, when I go to the beach in my Toyota Avalon, I feel like an old man. That guy pulls up in the Jeep and I go, I should have that car.
Yeah, he's not really having a good time.
Right.
Why isn't he driving a Jeep? On a more serious note, ironically, yesterday a woman came up to me and she was telling me that she had just purchased her Jeep, and you could just see the look in her eyes and the passion. And this is a cult, you know.
She's going to climb a mountain.
I said to her calmly, how long have you been driving a Jeep? And she says, I've been driving a Jeep for probably 20 years. And she said, I just love them. She says, she says, I have so many problems with my Jeep. She said, right now, she says, I drove off the lot and I've been on the road for an hour and I can't roll my window up or down.
It doesn't matter.
So I go over to the dealership and they said, that happens all the time. And they said, do you want to leave it? And she said, no. She said, I just bought this Jeep. She says, I want to go out and enjoy it. So my emphasis is on the look on her face and the passion in her eyes. And I said to her, are you planning a trip to the Grand Canyon? And she says, what do you mean? I says, well, it just simply puts you in that mindset, as
that's what
Stu alluded to when he was going to the beach. And
I slip into fantasy when I see those things. I want to get a German Shepherd and put it in the passenger seat and drive to the Grand Canyon. That's what I picture, right? So, being honest. Okay, the next one. Here's a good one. Okay, hello. I know you all say dealer-installed accessories are overpriced. I want mud guards on my new car. Is it better to buy the car without them, buy the mud guards, and then have the dealer install them, or buy the car and negotiate the price? Thank you.
Yeah, buy them on Amazon and check the ratings. The reason I love Amazon so much is it's kind of like Consumer Reports and a place to buy at the same time. You can check the price. You can check the ratings. And if you have a 4.5 star, you can read the individual ratings. And Amazon verifies these as legitimate because you have to buy a product.
Yep.
And so buy your mud flaps and then take them in and have somebody put them on for you, Rick.
Go find an independent mechanic.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they'll charge you half of what the dealership will.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
All right, you want to keep going?
You're fired, Rick.
Okay. I'm going to go start a new business where
There you go.
all I do is inspect flood cars.
Or
I can make a fortune doing that.
or Rick Kearney's
That'd be
Mudguard
easy.
Emporium. All right, we'll keep going here then. Hello, Earl Stewart. My name is Miguel. My wife and I are currently trying to purchase a vehicle. Actually, we're going to try and purchase 2 vehicles, both new. This actually should be for Nancy, I think. It says, I'm having trouble using the out-the-door affidavit. Dealerships are refusing to even look at it or even fill it out. Our car buying experience has become very stressful. We've been trying for about a year now. What advice can you give us to help us out? We also have used the Costco program, but it seems to be very restrictive and we're unable to find a decent price yet. What are we doing wrong? Please advise. Thanks.
Did you say Miguel?
That's Miguel, yeah.
Miguel, for me, instantly, a red flag just went up. And, if I can't get that salesperson or the manager to sign that affidavit, I would just there's so many car dealers here in the state of Florida, in Palm Beach County.
Well, we don't know where he's texting from.
And I would definitely put my feelers out and check that just a little further and attempt to use that out-the-door affidavit.
I'm glad you texted because we haven't. This is the first response we've had about someone attempting
Trying
to
to
do
use
it.
it. The area code is coming from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. I would say, seriously, on this outthedoorpriceaffidavit.com, I would always ask for a manager. and as high up the ladder as you can get. If you're in a smaller dealership, you might be able to find the owner. But it would be interesting to me to hear anybody that would try this out-the-door price affidavit and have the refusal if you went to someone in charge. And if you do, or if you refused, ask them why they would refuse to do it. That would be an interesting conversation.
That's a good technique that you use for everything. Ask why, no matter what answer you get, and eventually you'll get to the right answer.
That's a Japanese thing.
Exactly. Why?
It's a
you ask
great
why
idea.
4 times. 4 times or 5 times.
We can't sign that.
Yeah.
Why?
And you know something, it eliminates these hidden fees. It eliminates all of the dealer installed accessory that they get away with, and it's just a surefire way of you getting the out the door price. And there is no reason at all that they wouldn't sign
That's right.
the
and you
affidavit.
learn something.
Great.
Well, there is a reason why they won't sign it, because they're not going to give you that price.
Well, not up front,
but
later on, like this is what happens. You negotiate, you finally walk away from the deal, you get to your car, and you get tackled by the sales manager, and then they finally give you what you want.
Now, you can download this out the door price affidavit at earloncars.com. It's on the webpage there, or you can just go to www.outthedoorpriceaffidavit.com. Outthedoorpriceaffidavit.com. Download it, print it out, and it tells you something. You learn something when they say no, and then you know they're not going to sell you the car at that price. And you say, okay, that tells me that you're not going to sell me the car at that price. So just please tell me, what is the price you're going to sell me the car for?
Yeah.
That's all you're looking for, the price.
Yep.
Isn't it amazing that in the 21st century, we have to argue with people, car dealers, to tell us what the price is? They don't want to tell you.
And isn't it telling that you would get a response from a manager? I can understand a salesperson, but isn't that telling from a manager that he would look at you and say, "I'm sorry, we can't sign that affidavit." So buyer beware. It's a minefield out there. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Russell, who's holding in Lake Worth. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning. My fiance is a big fan of your show, and she turned me on to this, and here I am this morning.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So you have at least one fan. I just had a strange thing happen to me. I bought a 2017 Kia Sedona minivan at Rick Case Kia. It has a basic warranty of 60,000 miles and an overall warranty of 200,000 miles. And my blind spot detection system went out. And the short version of the story is I just had like a scratch, literally like a scratch on the side of my car. And they denied the repair of the blind spot detection system based on physical damage. And I brought it to 2 or 3 dealers. I escalated it to Kia, and Kia said, well, it's just in between you and the dealers. But I just can't believe Rick Case, I bought a $42,000 vehicle here, and the repair's turning out with a private, I took it out of his dealership. I was so disgusted. The module isn't even located near where the scratch is. It's like almost like 2 feet away. Anyway, the bottom line is they won't honor the warranty. So I just wanted to ask, why would a dealer create so much bad will with a good customer who speaks to a lot of people, and now all I'm going to do is speak bad about the Kia brand to people. They don't honor their warranty.
Sure.
Don't buy a Kia. I mean, I'm a businessman. I don't understand this logic. Can you explain?
Yeah, I'm surprised a little bit because I've heard relatively good things about the Rick Case dealerships. I think Rick Case's problem is he's so big, and by the way, it's a husband and wife team. I can't think of his wife's first name, but Mr. and Mrs. Case are kind of co-owners of a lot of dealerships. I think they're so big that they really can't get into the details like this. What I normally recommend when someone is having a warranty problem on a new vehicle with a dealer, that they go to a different dealership. You need to try to find a dealer that is concerned about you as a customer and will will sing your praises to the manufacturer. If a dealer goes to bat for you with Kia, a Kia dealer, and you got a better chance. The other thing, have you gone on the 800 number directly to Kia and talked about it? That way it does get transferred to somebody in the dealership at a higher level than you've probably been talking.
Yes, I did. I made that call. I got a case number, and I went to several different dealers, and they all said the same thing, because there's physical damage on your car. They said it doesn't matter. No matter how slight it is, they won't cover it. That's their blanket policy.
Well, you certainly spread the word about Kia, and to me that's a totally nonsensical reason. They should have a technician look at the damage, and if the technician said this may have caused the problem with your blind side, not functioning. Or you could have someone say that based on the small amount of this damage, there's no chance that it could have caused a problem. It should be covered under warranty. The manufacturer is supposed to rely on the dealer. If they don't want to rely on the dealer, they're specialists in the field. All manufacturers have specialists that work under the manufacturer directly, and they go into the dealerships to confer with the technicians in the dealership. But in this case here, you're just being stonewalled. They don't even want to talk to you. Rick is a technician specializing in Toyotas. If you have a scratch on your side view mirror?
It's actually a scratch on the left rear panel.
Left rear panel. Does it make sense? I know you can't see it, Rick, but it is possible that it's so slight it couldn't possibly be a problem.
Unless it was a severe impact that actually damaged the sensor or changed its mounting, it damaged the metal where it's mounted to, I can't see any reason not to cover that under warranty. And as a technician, I would be kind of angry because I can make good money replacing that under warranty.
Yeah, that's very unusual. I'm surprised that Kia would do that. Kia, I read recently, they're having some financial problems, and pretty serious. So Wall Street's talking about Kia's survivability, and it may be that they have just clamped down on all warranty claims, and if that's the case, shame on them. This might even merit a lawsuit. I know you don't want to go to that trouble to hire an attorney on something like this, because you pay the attorney more than what it would benefit you, but I just happen to realize that this may be a trend with Kia now. They may be having to tighten the purse strings a little bit.
I know. What the most amazing to me is the ripple effect of one unhappy customer, telling, like, I have a big sphere of influence. I probably know, a couple hundred people. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they realize the impact of, like, one really unhappy customer.
Well, one unhappy customer is talking to 20,000 listeners at Earl on Cars, and then we also have Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and a lot of people out there are hearing this comment about Kia manufacturer and dealers being unfair in the way they repair their cars under warranty. So they've already cost themselves far more than they would have paid to fix your car for you the way they should have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your opinion. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Russell. Call again, please.
Yeah, Russell, thank you so much, and thank your fiance for turning you on to us. It's amazing what happens from word of mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
It can be pretty destructive. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. I think we're going to go to Rick. He is letting me know he's got some YouTubes over there.
I've actually got a couple of good ones here, and the one that I'm kind of liking, Ernesto Ortega from YouTube is asking, good morning. Any truth to the color of the car affecting the price to buy or sell it? Example, in insurance, some colors cost more to insure, like black and red. Thank you, and I love the show.
I didn't know that.
Great.
Well, I do know that, some, like the two process, like that pearlized paint that you see on a lot of cars, when you buy the car, that's a premium that you pay for the extra paint.
Yeah.
I didn't know that red and black got extra insurance.
Yeah. No, I think colors are or something people don't think about. When you buy a car, you want a car that's probably your favorite color. But you don't think in terms of the ramifications down the line 5 years later when you trade that car in. So if you buy yourself
A purple car.
a purple Mercedes, you might have a problem.
Well, this is a true story. Listen, first of all, I just want to caveat, I'm a good dad. I was driving my daughter home yesterday, and she sees this car in this, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say god-awful burgundy color. And she says, "Oh, I love that red car." And I go, "You mean no sale red?" And she looked at me like I had two heads. And that's an industry term. So what they're saying is, to what your point
I
is,
like that.
there are colors that have a broad appeal. So if you notice on the road today, pretty much every car you see out there is white or silver. I mean, there's other colors, but that's the preponderance. So if a dealer is looking to give you a trade-in value or purchase a car, he wants one that has the biggest audience. So you'll get more money in your trade-in for these common colors versus something that was unique to, like Nancy or your shirt. Beautiful color blue, maybe not so much on a car for resale value. Now, if you don't care about that so much, get the color that you like.
Yeah.
But it does affect the value of the car.
Exactly. The depreciation of purchasing a vehicle and driving it off the lot, period, is a little, well, it's more than you think it is. But then you throw in a color that, as Earl stated, or a purple car, or a lime green, and there's a big depreciation when you go to turn that car in. We are going to go to Jim, who's giving us a call from Lake Worth. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
What can we do for you?
Well, I have a couple of one question and a comment for Earl, and then one comment for Rick. But I want to see if you ever heard of this before. I was dealing a while back with Delray Toyota. I did like 3 cars with them, and they were leases. And when I handed in the first car, my fault actually for going through with it, they hit me with this: I got to cover the car that I'm handing in till it gets to its final destination. And sure enough, a couple of months later, I got a bill for $175 to fix a scratch on a bumper, but I got it back from the dealer, so I was good that way. But did you ever hear of something like that?
Cover the cost of the car back to the leasing company?
Well, yeah, wherever the final destination is, yeah. I maybe sign a form saying I would extend my insurance on it until it got to where it was going. And it never happened again. I mean, when I went to them on the next car, I don't know, it was just some cute thing they thought up, or
I think it's something cute they thought up. You say this Delray Toyota?
Yeah.
How much was it?
What the gentleman just said before about customers, loyalty and that.
No,
I had 3 cars with them.
Yeah.
Did they want cash?
And I had 3 cars with them. And then the last time I had a question of service, never responded. I went to the business manager just on the phone, never responded. I finally walked away and I never got a call. So like the gentleman just before, I don't know, some dealers just amazing. They don't bother with a guy that gives them multiple business.
Well, you're only required to return a lease car to the dealership, and the dealership makes the arrangements with the leasing company to return it to them. Sometimes the leasing company actually will go to your home, and I mean there are variations of that, but I have never heard of a dealership charging a leasing customer to transport the car from the dealership to the leasing company.
Yeah, they have this disposition fee, but that's
let me make a correction. They didn't charge me, but it cost me money because, I had to extend my insurance on that car, which was no longer mine.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I got it.
Yeah. I haven't heard of that either. Once you turn the car in, your insurance lapses, and once you have the dealership accept the car back, the car now officially belongs to the leasing company.
Yeah.
And the leasing company.
You still have to contact your insurance company and let them know that you've returned it to the dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's normally what I did, but this was something it hit me by surprise, and I shouldn't even assigned it, but I just figure I'd call you to put out a warning to other people if they ever try to do it, don't sign it.
Well, thanks, Jim. That's very good advice. Turning in lease cars can be hazardous to your wallet, and you need to be sure about everything they say it has to be fixed, and look at the tires and the interior, the outside, and there should be a lease checklist that you would agree with. And I always recommend that you take pictures of your car inside and outside.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, and my cars, I'm a fanatic. And it's a lease car, but I take care of it like it's my car. So I get back, and it's very low mileage. They love me. But now the next thing, I wanted to make a comment to you, and should give yourself a pat on the back. I'd moved down the street, and I dealt with GMC Buick dealer, and I wound up at a hell of a nice deal on the Terrain, and I liked it so much. I'm now sitting in my third one, but I had a bad thing happen with the end of the lease fee on the second car, and when I went in the next time to get my next car, which I have now, I wanted to make sure the salesman I dealt with I wouldn't deal with again. I did. Sure, and there were a lot of new faces, and when I sat down with you to talk over the deal, he happened to say, by the way, we have a change format. We don't work on commission anymore. And I thought, Earl Stewart just converted somebody.
Well, it's slow, but I'm always happy when I hear that. Some people say they don't have, haggle and hassle, but they do. But I'm glad to hear this. This is a Buick dealer in Lake. Where are they?
No, it was in Delray. We're right down the street from Toyota.
Yeah, we shopped them, didn't we?
And,
that's right.
No, I just have one I think Rick would find interesting if I could just talk with him a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Rick, I heard, I think it was a couple of shows ago, you talked about the new Terrain and the disaster waiting to happen because of the start-stop routine. I mean, I'm leasing a car, so I'm not worried. But latest thing, I got a letter from GMC, maybe 6 months after I had the car, and it was about people going to car washes, which I don't do. They go to hit the neutral, and if they let off the brake beforehand and the car starts to go into the start mode, it has some kind of problem with the transmission. Have you heard that one?
I have not. Sounds like they've got a serious glitch on their hands.
Well, I had to go in. There was a recall, so I went in and apparently it wasn't just a simple computer change or something. It seemed like they had to change actually some item in the car. But I don't, it never happened to me because I never use neutral. I go to park and stop the car. But apparently it happens quite a bit in the people that are going in the car wash. So I thought I'd just add to what you had already said about it's a disaster waiting to happen as far as the stop-start.
Well, sounds like a good heads up for all the listeners, and that's on the Terrain.
Well, the start-stop feature is actually pretty common on a lot of new cars.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, that's not a good idea in my opinion.
Yeah, well, the thing too that when I went for the test drive, I said, "What's going on?" I couldn't figure out for a minute, and the salesman explained, and he says it gives you good gas mileage. Well, I checked my computer, after a couple of weeks, and to be quite honest, I only do in-town driving. Maybe on a long haul it would be better, but I don't see that much advantage on the fuel savings.
I wouldn't think so. That was just a really bad idea, and they probably are going to change it back and not build them that way anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it probably shaves off a little, but they could probably find better ways to get that mileage.
Well, I think maybe I heard wrong when I heard you talk about it the first time. You said something about it. GM's decided it's so bad they won't do it again.
If they don't, they will, because I think I've never heard anyone say anything good about that feature.
No, even Toyota now is backing off, and it's there were several companies that tried that, and to me it goes back to that old Cadillac had their 4.6.8 engine that as you were driving on the highway it would begin disabling cylinders, and they quickly realized that was a bad idea.
What if they added artificial vibration?
I remember when that came out.
That made you feel like the car was
that was what I had to say. I love your show. I listened to it faithfully when I found it. I just happened to find it one time on the radio.
Well, thanks, Jim. Call again, please.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Give us
Have
a
a
call.
good day.
You too.
Have a great weekend. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. And I see where Stu's got some texts.
People are listening to you, and they are texting us. This is from Anne Marie, longtime texter. Good morning. Oh, great question. Good morning. A while back, I heard a car backfire. That's when I realized that is no longer a common sound, thank goodness. What causes cars to backfire? And what have the auto manufacturers done to cut down on the number of vehicles that backfire nowadays? Just wondering. Thank you. I'm looking at you, Rick, because I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Just before you answer that, I just had a flashback. When I was a kid, I used to make my father's car backfire by pumping the accelerator and I think generating too much gas that didn't burn in the cylinder. So
You just answered the question. That's exactly what it was. And the reason you don't hear cars backfire anymore is because fuel-injected cars limit how much fuel can go in the engine dramatically, and you can't flood them out like you could with a carbureted car.
Yeah.
And the catalytic converter catches all that extra fuel and burns it up and doesn't allow it to go out into the atmosphere, which is an emissions thing from the federal government. So backfire simply has become a thing of the past. It just doesn't occur anymore.
They were so much fun back
I
in the
was just
day.
going to say, I bet
Yep.
you had a whole lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
And what did your daddy do to you when you did that?
I don't think he knew about it. But
That was like the old trick of riching up the mixture a whole bunch, and then people would actually install a spark plug in the tailpipe that you could power up
For fire.
and you would actually get flame effect coming out of the exhaust pipe, your tailpipe.
Like in Greece?
as long
That's
as
exactly what it
As
was.
long as we're
That's how they did
digressing,
that.
let me digress way back. My father was born in 1892, and one of his first jobs was general manager of a car dealership in Toledo, Ohio.
For the Dodge brothers.
Yeah, and anyway, this is during Prohibition, and one of the things that they installed at the dealership was smoke screens for the criminals. And you know, the guy would come in, and if the cops are chasing him, moonshine or whatever it is, so my father's dealership would put in, and it was like a little tube that would, and you had a switch on the dashboard, and you go like this, and then the oil would run into the hot exhaust, and
Yep.
you had a smoke screen.
Suddenly you're burning huge clouds of oil out.
So he pioneered the rolling coal phenomenon.
Yes, yeah.
They're still doing that with diesel. All right, we got some text backing up.
Okay.
All right, here's a good one. It's from Lenny and Stewart. Under which normal situation should I use my emergency brake? I rarely use it, opting to leave my car in park. If I'm on a steep decline, where are you going to find that around here? Am I doing damage
My
to my
driveway.
transmission?
Bridges.
That's true, yeah. I'll tell you one thing. I sometimes long, as the father of teenage drivers, long for an emergency brake, because he used to be able to grab that handbrake right in the middle and just stop the car no matter who was driving. A few times it would have come in handy. But yeah, I think you answered the question yourself. If you're on a steep incline, isn't that what it's for, Rick?
That's it.
There's another reason. You need the emergency brake to do a bootlegger turn.
That's right, that full J turn.
Yeah.
I used to do that in my
A
old age.
bootlegger turn for the uninformed is when the federal agents are chasing you and you have moonshine and you want to lose the federal agent. If you hit your brake and you
turn the wheel hard
and turn the wheel higher, and the emergency brake, you'll do a 180, and the federal agent will just spin right past you.
And then you'll hear loud banjo music playing in the background. And
I saw that on
then you yell,
Thunder
"Yeehaw."
Road with Robert Mitchum.
Okay, and folks, for those of us that are in this, well, actually, this century and this millennium, that's now called drifting.
Okay. Oh, drifting, okay.
Yep.
And all of these facts will appear, and you can read them in Earl's next book.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Federal
Earl's
agents.
moonshining days.
Well, there are certain crimes that have no limit of, statute, what am I trying to say?
Statute
Statute of limitations. So they can only be published posthumously.
Yeah, and I say,
I'll take care of that.
why did you and I meet? And then I think back, in this neighborhood I lived in, and all of the moonshining that was going on, and I'm talking about the 50s. So it wasn't so long ago. So there you go. We had something in common, and we didn't know it.
Yep.
Okay. Nancy was making it. Earl was running it.
All right. Okay, Andreas, who is a Facebook fan, watches the show every week, sent me a picture, and I forwarded it to you in your text.
Yeah.
If you want to show the screen. Andreas got a solicitation from looks like a company that is selling extended warranties. And it's one of these really deceptive ads. It came in, and it looks like a big official notice that says final attempt to notify. And it basically says his warranty coverage has expired. However, Andreas has 9.5 years of warranty left on his vehicle. And he helpfully annotated this, pointing out some of the things on there. The first thing, the headline says it's final notice. Andrea says this is the first notice, and there's a QR code. If you've seen those things, you can scan it with an app on your phone. It'll take you to a website. Andreas drives a Hyundai. If you scan the QR code, it actually takes you to www.americanautomotiveservicessolutions.com, which is probably the company that generated this solicitation letter. And anyway, it's a scam, and we've talked about these on the show a lot. If you get anything in the mail telling you that your warranty is expired, there's a 99.9% chance that it is a BS solicitation. And if you just bought a car, your warranty is not going to expire.
And the sad thing is there's a huge proliferation of this now with the internet. And we joke about it, and you put these scams and you share them with your friends and you laugh about it. But the fact of the matter is it's a rule of numbers. And with email, you can send out 1 million of these. And people, some guy in Nigeria or Taiwan or Miami, I mean, they can be anywhere in the world. You don't know where they are. And they, with a click of a key, they shotgun out millions of these scam things. So all they have to do is have 1/1000th of 1% return.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that are gullible.
It's a
so
numbers
we
game.
laugh at it, and we're preaching to the choir here at Earl and Cars because you wouldn't fall for it.
Yeah.
But some people do.
The piece that Andreas got, it came in, it's in actual physical mail, and it looks like a bill. I mean, it looks like something you get from your bank or your mortgage holder or something important, and it does work. And by the way, we're all, like you said, we're all sophisticated consumers here in this room, and a lot of our listeners are. I pause when I see those. I mean, when something looks like junk mail, it goes right in recycling. If it looks official, I don't want to take a chance. So, even I will open it.
Well, here's something. Here's something that I mentioned to you. I don't think I mentioned it to you. The really slick scam artists now are legitimate people. I've had checks sent to me that I was entitled to, and they made it look like a scam, and I threw the check away. I mean, think about it. We get so much junk mail that we study it, right? You get your junk out of your mailbox, and you go through, and you throw in the trash can. This, I'll keep this. I'll throw this away. And like Sue just said, sometimes you study it for a minute.
I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to screw up.
So
it could be a bill.
So to take that to the other extreme, you're sending out refund checks, and you want people not to cash them. Make it look a little strange. So maybe 20% of them get tossed.
Yeah.
And that is happening.
That's intentional.
It is.
That's bad.
Yeah, real bad.
All right, I got bad news here. Sorry, this came out on our text line. Sorry, Earl. Looks like someone beat you to the AC condensate reclamation system.
Oh, no.
A company called Brimtech has a patent on it, and I found...
Samantha, do you hear that?
Yeah, sorry, Samantha, you're out. Only $50. No billions for you. I sent you, I looked it up, Brimtech, and I sent you the website. I know.
I love those sound effects.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I sent you the website. Maybe you can invest in the company. It's called Brimtech, and I don't know if it's in any vehicles, but it is a self-filling system, connects to the condensate in the air conditioning system, and fills the windshield wiper reservoir system.
I actually feel like I was, I
Too late.
feel good about it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Well, it's a
on a
very
roll.
good idea.
Yeah.
But what I'm surprised is, I don't
Why
know if
don't we
it-
have them?
Well, I don't understand. Is it way too much to manufacture? Why wouldn't they do that? What a great convenient thing to have. I also saw that Ford was developing a water drinking system from the AC condensate, which is nothing wrong with that. Astronauts do it with lots of things. And so if it tastes good, do it. All right.
Well, they make water coolers that you can buy that all it is a basically a humidifier inside that collects water condensate, puts it through a filter, and it comes out in a cup for you. You don't have to put a jug on it or anything.
Yeah, we should have that in our homes, too. Okay, this is a great one. Listen to this. Aloha from Hawaii, Earl. This might be not a... Well, we've had Bali, right?
Bali, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not as far as Bali, but it's pretty far.
Yeah.
Okay, aloha. And I replied, mahalo, which means thank you. What are your thoughts about purchasing a new car via Ford's X-Plan partnership program? That's from Jeff in Honolulu. I happen to know quite a bit about the Ford's X-Plan because I Googled it after I saw the text. It sounds like a great way to buy a car. It's a purchase plan available to employees of Ford dealers, Ford affiliates, and all that. And the way it works is you buy the new vehicles at invoice minus all the holdback and the advertising fee. And then they also limit the dealers to $100 for dock fees. So unless there's other, profit buried into the Ford invoice besides holdback, and when we say holdback, we generally mean like everything that's packed in there. But if that's the case, it sounds like a great way to buy a car.
Now say that again. They limit it to invoice
So
less.
It's invoice minus holdback minus the advertising fee, which I think is a regional or
Yeah.
dealer ad
That is
associate fee.
good deal.
Yep, and then they cap the dealer fee that the dealers can charge to $100. So it sounds like a legitimate thing, and it's been around for a long time. To be honest, I think I became familiar with it back during the recession, and a lot of the manufacturers started, and a lot of dealers started coming up with the concept of employee purchasing, and a lot of it was modeled after the Ford X plan.
You know what we ought to do? We got a mystery shop, a Ford dealer, and I have one in mind, that we go in there and say we're a retired Ford manufacturing employee, and we want to use the X plan and find out if they really will limit their dealer fee to $100.
You do have to provide documentation proving, that you are affiliated in the correct way. So we figure out what kind of they need, and I'll Photoshop it. Okay. Would you recommend? And this is not anonymous, but we don't have a name. Would you recommend that I buy a 2019 Highlander, which has a strong manufacturer rebate and proven reliability, or wait for the redesigned 2020, which will be more expensive, but have a higher resale value in 5 years than 2019? Styling and features are less important to me than value and reliability. Thank you.
Well, in general, I always recommend that you wait and buy the newest model. There's some variables involved. Is there a styling change from the older model to the new model?
Yep, complete redesign.
In which case, that double reinforces my theory, is that you always wait for the redesigned new model.
Yeah.
And the savings you get will be substantial on the 2019, but they won't be as substantial as the depreciation you'll suffer.
Yeah, and like I think you said, the variable, if the rebate is enormous, then that can even things out more for you. I can say, they do have some incentives on the Highlander, but they're not enormous. I think the waiting it would be the better way.
And one other caveat, when you buy the 2020, when you buy the new model Highlander, the supply-demand phenomena, when a new model comes out, the first few days or weeks,
You're gonna pay
can
more.
cost you a lot of money. So you're going to keep that car for 5 or 6 years probably. Don't have to buy it in the first 30 days. Buy it in 60 days.
Slow your roll.
Exactly. And suddenly, you'll buy that 2020 just like you would have bought the 2019.
That's right.
And,
They all become commodities eventually.
exactly.
All right, last one. Oh, Nancy's got something. What you need? What do you got? Okay, I got it. All right, we had an incognito. I'm sorry. YourAnonymousFeedback.com came in. Great question. Has anyone used the out-the-door price affidavit at your dealership, Earl?
No, not to my knowledge.
Not to my knowledge.
It would be interesting, just for fun, because we mystery shop our own dealership. It would be interesting to see what the reaction from our salespeople would be if somebody did actually insist that this be signed. But
that is a good question. I mean, we can't make it sound like a commercial. I just
well, the fact is we don't have any hidden fees, and we don't have any dealer install accessories, so it should be a no-brainer. But
let's test it. We'll test it
but
this
we
week.
get surprised every time we mystery shop our own dealership.
Yeah, we screw up all the time.
We do, and you car dealers out there that are listening, and I know you're there. You just don't want to call, but you're listening. Shop your own dealership. I think there's a lot of really good guys out there I don't know how many, but there's some good dealers out there, honest dealers out there. You want to know what's really going on. You don't know until you mystery shop your own store. And I'm talking about whether you have a hardware store or a car dealership or a restaurant. If you don't mystery shop, because it is incredible. You go through the screening process, you hire good people, you train them, you have meetings, you have policies and procedures, and then you send that mystery shopper in, and you would be surprised some of the dumb things the people that are working for you will do.
Yep. Well, I'm going to take it a step further. When has this affidavit been enforced by the mystery shopper that goes out every week? Did they take it?
We have yet to try that.
Or fax it to the...
we haven't tried it yet. We will, though. That's something we hadn't thought of.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. And also, I received a text message this morning asking when are we going to send out a female mystery shopper, and I'll answer that question. It's in the works, and we're going to get it done. Things like this take a little longer.
Yeah, we have. We've done it a few times this year. We've had I can't remember the agent name. We did 2 or 3 times earlier this year, and we could definitely dispatch this. I will say, as the mystery shopper agent wrangler, I mean, it is tough to find somebody to do. I mean, there's schedules and all that.
You almost have to have somebody that's in the car business, and you have to have somebody that is tough. It is not. Some people from a emotional standpoint don't like to deceive other people, which is a good quality.
And we're not talking about
people.
And we're not talking about women. I mean, we've had plenty of male mystery shoppers that tried it once, came back, and just it wasn't for them because they felt you have to be a little bit sneaky. There's a little deception going on.
To the female texter who sent me that text this past week, I do have to tell you, I'm expecting a great mystery shop from a female that would go out because things have changed so much and we've become so educated, and as consumers we're involved in making such fantastic financial decisions. So I think with the internet at our fingertips also, I think it would be a great mystery shop. So we're going to take care of it, and it'll be soon. So
we're all caught up with texts and anonymous feedback.
I have one text from a Rosalie, who is a senior, and she's going to be going out to purchase a car. She says, I'm 78 years old, and to Earl, can you ask him, would leasing be a way for me to go, or would that be a mistake considering my age?
Well, it depends on your health and how you feel. A lease is a permanent contract for the length of the lease. You can't turn a lease in early, and unfortunately some car salespeople tell you can. 36-month lease, you have to make 36 monthly payments. If something should happen with your eyesight or some other reason you could not drive, you're stuck with a car that you have to make all those lease payments on. So be careful, but if leasing is a good alternative. I always tell people when they get to be older to think about that, and remember that you're obligated when you buy the car. is you make your monthly payments, you're building equity. And so let's say that you're 2 years into a purchase on a 36-month financing. You probably got some equity in the car, or at least you're at break even. So it's not going to cost you any money. If you have to stop driving that car, you can just sell it and break even on the deal. But my rule of thumb is just buy instead of lease, but sometimes the leasing is a better alternative.
Yeah, and also be aware of the additional costs that you might incur. There's always a fee at the end of the lease, and they call it the disposition fee. It's usually $350, and typically they will not charge that to you if you release a car. But if you're older and this might be the last car that you're leasing, you're going to pay it. And that happened recently. I had a call from a customer who had bought, I think, 14 cars from us over the years, and he's leased all these years. I mean, going back a long time, and never had to pay the fee. And then he retired and didn't need the car anymore. And he got the first disposition fee he ever saw, and he was apoplectic.
I don't blame him.
And so that was a surprise, because if you're not releasing, you're going to pay a little extra money at the end.
Yeah, so to Rosalie, knowledge is power. So you must do your homework, whether you lease, whether you purchase a new car, whichever way you go, used car. We're going to go over to Rick, who's got a few YouTubes over there.
We've got a couple. First one is from Steven. He says, at what point, either based on years or mileage, should the fan belts and radiator hoses be replaced? And going back years ago, it used to be we had a recommended time interval that we'd say, oh, you need new belts and hoses. But the technology on those has improved to the point of which I do a visual inspection on belts. If there aren't any cracks in the belt, or they're not severely glazed or really messed up, I leave those belts alone. Same thing with the hoses. Visual inspection. If there's no damage and they're not leaking, leave them be. There's really not a lifespan on them anymore.
That's interesting. Yeah, that raised an issue. Nancy found an article in USA Today recently, and they were talking about the fact that cars are so good today mechanically, and they last so much longer. Maintenance is nominal. Repairs are almost non-existent. And you get 150,000 miles on a car, no problem. You probably haven't had any problems.
Yeah,
But the problem is with the rest of the car, and I'm taking belts and hoses, and interior was the subject of this article that you read. The manufacturers are having to plan on the car lasting longer.
Yep.
Absolutely. They're working on...
What's the average time that they say?
Making the cabins more durable to keep up with the exterior that's doing so well. And the average age of the cars and light trucks on U.S. roads has reached about 11.8 years in 2018.
Wow, can you believe that? I mean, you think of an 11 or 12-year-old car as an old car. No more. It's the average age of the car on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And where do we have problems? Dashboards, upholstery,
plastics,
and stuff that, back in the day, they used to trade cars every 3 years.
Yep.
Now they're keeping them for 12 years. Wow.
Exactly. And all this faded interior that you come across whenever you purchase a vehicle. And it's kind of disappointing, because the car is going to stay on the road to up to 300,000 miles.
Now, they're not saying 11 years is the trade cycle, though.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
It's the average.
Yeah, before it dies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that means that some people are trading them in 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Okay, we got another.
We have one more. And I love this fellow's name. Give me $5 on YouTube. That's his username. I love it. It's a great one.
Oh, I like that.
Send him $5.
I had bought a new Nissan Versa, and I had it less than 3 weeks, and I had an issue with the airbag light on. When I took it to the dealer, AutoNation Nissan of Louisville, and they charged me $120 to fix the issue. They said it was not covered under warranty because I had a water bottle under the seat. Would you think a water bottle would unplug the airbag sensor?
That's one talented water bottle.
Well, here's my answer to that. Absolutely not. And the reason I say that is because the electrical connectors for any new car are a very tight fit. They snap and they lock in place nice and solid. Now, I have seen from the factory brand new cars where sometimes the connector is not pushed in all the way and they'll come loose. However, airbags are another story. Anything to do with an airbag generally has what we call a double lock system. And to disconnect that connector, you actually have to work a plastic tab once, slide it part way out, and then work the tab in a different manner to slide it the rest of the way out. It's an industry standard to have this double lock system on all airbag connectors to make sure that they don't accidentally become unplugged. And they make it very difficult to actually unplug them. So there's no way an airbag or a water bottle could have bumped against that connector and unplugged it. And if this happens again, if it's something that's relatively recent, I would pull out the Missourian and I would be right back in there saying, show me that connector and show me how a water bottle is going to unplug that connector.
I would also, now that you've made him aware, he should go back and speak to somebody in authority of that dealership. You say it was a Nissan dealer in Louisville?
Louisville.
I think it's pronounced Louisville.
I'm going to need to look that one up. It's
Anyway, go back to the dealership. Try to talk to the head guy, the owner, if you can, and just say, look what your people did to me. Talk to the general manager. Go up the line there, and if that didn't work, I'd get on the 800 number to Nissan. And then you can't do that because the CEO's in jail. So,
Mr. Goshi or Goshen?
Gone. Pronounced Gone, yeah.
And it looks like Louisville, the first one that pops up in Google
The
is in
chairman of the board's
Texas.
in jail, too. They put the chairman of the board and the CEO in jail at Nissan. I wonder who's running the show.
And
I'm not
Nissan,
kidding.
I don't
I'm not
know.
kidding, folks. I tell you, you want to talk about moral, what do we got, a moral crisis in the automotive? We've got Volkswagen CEOs in jail, Nissan CEO and chairman of the board. Who else is in jail? There are multiple manufacturers that are going to the slammer.
That's right.
And Elon Musk is just getting high and relaxing.
Yeah, they won't go to jail.
Do we have enough jails? Do we have enough jails? There's going to be a lot of people going to jail.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple of texts that came in.
Okay, let's go on. This is a relatively short mystery shopping report.
Yeah.
So we can do...
Well, Linda on Facebook has a question. She said she had her oil and a cabin air filter replaced. It was $50 for the oil change and $50 for the cabin air filter. Is that a good price? We got a little more information, but generally speaking, yeah, for a synthetic oil change, I mean, you can be looking at $60 or $70. A cabin air filter, $50, $60, something like that. So sounds like you got a pretty good price. Just make sure that wasn't for regular oil, because $50 for a regular oil change is a little steep.
Yeah,
a lot steep.
That'd be a little bit high. Linda, thanks so much for tuning in to Earl on Cars every Saturday. We really appreciate your company.
Yep, and the next one is from Brandy in Pennsylvania, and Miguel, who texted earlier. I just wanted to thank us for answering the question about using the out the door affidavit, and just said great show, and they're going to be listening to the mystery shopping report.
Great.
Yeah, so speaking of parts, and we're talking about cabin filters, it made me think what Jonathan said earlier about Amazon. You know, a cabin filter is a fairly expensive item, and that's the one that filters the air in your car from when you the area you sit in. Oil filters, you can buy just about any automotive part on Amazon, and you can buy them at other places too. But just a little test, you can buy an OEM part on Amazon, and just to keep your car dealer honest and keep your independent repair honest. If you're going in for routine maintenance, which is going to require new filters or some new part, just go on Amazon, check the part. And so when they charge you, the markup on parts can be huge. The manufacturer typically marks the part up to the car dealer, obviously. We don't know what their markup is. They might double the price. We don't know. But car dealers buy a part from the manufacturer. The average dealer markup is at least 40%. That's suggested, but most parts departments use what they call grid pricing, and they'll triple the price of a part, meaning a filter or something like that. So you can really get laid away on an auto part. We have the digital awareness now with Amazon and a lot of other sources that you can buy OEM, original equipment parts, or good quality aftermarket parts, and keep your dealers and your independent repair shops honest on the parts.
Or you don't have to go through the trouble. You can pull up Amazon on your phone and go, look, free shipping.
Yeah, free shipping here. And why are you charging me?
Please match this.
Yeah, I don't mind you making a little profit, but why are you doubling the price of what I'm paying retail on Amazon?
Yeah.
And you'll find out that in some cases you are.
Yeah, great idea. As usual, we have all kind of great information here at Earl Stewart on Cars. And now we're going to get to the mystery shopping report part of the show. And I want to encourage you to text us with your grade at 772-497-6530. That mystery shopping report is going to come to you from Palm Beach Toyota. Stay tuned.
Okay, Mystery Shop, Palm Beach Toyota. Palm Beach Toyota, by the way, is a very large volume car dealership. Toyota sells the most cars in the market. In fact, in Florida and the whole southeast United States. And Palm Beach Toyota is outselling almost every car dealer, I would say, from the Fort Lauderdale area to the Orange County area. Yeah. Big area, huge volume. And they just moved into a giant new facility. They're on Congress in Southern.
Correct.
And it's a huge, beautiful facility. And they're doing a whole lot of advertising. And the advertising is really why we're doing this mystery shopping report. We are taking a break also from Takata investigations. I alluded to this earlier in the show that we're overdoing it on Takata. And I thought about it, and I agree with the anonymous feedback that we are. Stu is caressing his microphone.
Yes, so soft.
Oh.
We're discussing the AC.
A little distracting,
I'm hearing some ASMR, like whispering noises. I think it's our that's our air conditioner.
Does anybody else hear it? I don't hear it.
You don't hear any high frequency sounds.
Okay,
I hear people's voices.
I hear it.
I'm hearing voices.
Watch out.
I'm hearing voices.
We're okay. It's just some background white noise. Don't let us distract you.
Okay, we're taking a break from our Takata because we think we've overdone it Takata, and I confess I got emotionally involved with Takata. It's important.
As you should.
But
we'll go back to it.
Part of our duty here is to inform and entertain. And if you overdo something, you don't do that.
That is true.
Our weekly mystery shopping report used to focus almost exclusively on car dealer advertising. And we've exposed just about every trick in the book.
Yeah, the show was built on that.
Exactly. We've seen ads with enormous and too good to be true discounts, ridiculously low car payments, and impossible offers for trade-ins. We've seen promises for guaranteed finance approval and offers for huge cash prices.
And gold coins.
Yeah. At the heart of these ads is a simple concept, bait and switch. And we overuse that, and I hear the same thing you're hearing now, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit. I hope you don't hear it over the air. But bait and switch is a term that is uniquely accurate and descriptive. And I think sometimes when you overuse a phrase, it becomes like you say it, but that doesn't mean anything. But it is true. It's exactly what it is. The bait is an attractive offer, like really, really, God, well, wow, man. You're like a fish, and you see that juicy lure, and you think it's a juicy mullet, but it's got hooks in it. The bait is what the dealer uses to lure you, and when you come in to the dealership, then a less desirable thing awaits you, and can be painful too, because you can pay a huge amount of money when you thought you were going to get a bargain. So we're focusing in on these. We've done less mystery shops and car dealer advertising lately, mainly because of the shift to digital advertising. That's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's kind of getting away from newspapers, but there's still a lot of TV going on, and radio for that matter. It's targeted to the individual consumer online, and on social media, so you don't see it. The digital I'm talking about, you don't see it. It's going to somebody else because you can target the people that are going to run in and buy the car.
You can target people by their buying behaviors, and also if you visit a dealer's website or if you'd visit other car type websites, you'll get tracked from now on. You'll see these little ads appear, and you're the only one who sees them.
Yeah, and we're car dealers, and in full transparency, and we see the genius of the advertising and digital, and we can advertise as a car dealer to people and know, this whole privacy thing is real. We know everything about them. We know where they're going on the web, where they're going on their computer, what products they're looking at. Nancy's always talking about, how did they know that I was looking for shoes? Well, they know you're looking for shoes because you looked at somebody's company that was advertising shoes.
You're leaving a very conspicuous trail of breadcrumbs.
And it can be amazingly quick. They know where you live. They know how much money you make. They know what kind of car you drive.
The more you share online, the more they know about you.
Yeah, exactly.
That information is very real, and it doesn't matter whether you're looking at to buy a hamster or if you're looking for a car. It's real, and you're being tracked no matter what you do.
If you want a lot of cute ads, start visiting hamster websites.
Exactly.
No matter what you do, no matter where you go, you're being tracked
And
on
this
the
radio
internet.
show, they will think we're looking for hamsters, and they'll be able to.
That's right. Someone's listening.
Well, it was just to your point about
Now, back on the serious subject of this mystery shopping report and the fact that we have seen a serious reduction in outlandish ads. The ads are still out there. I mean, Best Smith Toyota, for example, or Prime Auto. There's still some hysterical outlandish ads. Arrigo is outlandish. But there's been a reduction, and a sophistication has come on to the scene that's making these advertisements, these bait and switch ads, even more dangerous. It's less safe now than ever before, but to look at it on the surface, it seems like people are calming down, but they're getting very, very clever. And even intelligent people are being duped into the bait and switch. For example, this week, in an ad from a local Toyota dealership, Palm Beach Toyota, and we're going to use this, and we found it digitally online. It's on television constantly. If you live in the Palm Beach County, probably northern Broward or St. Lucie County or Martin County, you've probably seen the advertisement. It's a completely redesigned 2020 Corolla from $14,977. $14,977. Completely redesigned 2020 Corolla. Now, 2020, it's not even 2020 yet. And we have very few 2020 cars out. That's a new car, right? That's a new 2020 Corolla. Well, and the price, $14,977. Now, that's a really good price. A really good price. And we checked it out, 2020 Corolla LE. If you really did your work in TrueCard and Consumer Report, Costco, you might be able to buy it for $18,000. But Palm Beach Toyota is advertising it for $14,977. In smaller print, above the Corolla starting at $14,977.
That's literally in neon.
Yeah. The word pre-owned is inserted. So that makes it legal. Yeah. So these folks that are having to deal with the more intelligent consumer, and you are, people who listen to the show are very intelligent and very aware, I want you to be pre-warned that you can even be tricked. Yeah. And I can be tricked. I have seen ads recently that I had to read 2 or 3 times because I said, where's the hook? I'm a dealer, and I know that you can't buy a 2020 Corolla, new Corolla, for $14,977. I know that. Yeah. But sometimes I can see an ad that I have to read it twice or 3 times to find the hook. And that's what we're doing here. Now, you think for a minute, it's 2019. Yeah. What would an average consumer think when they see a 2020 model year advertised? And that is the way it's being done. How about one promoted as completely redesigned?
Doesn't sound like a used car to me.
Can't be a used car. It can't be a used car. I think an average consumer may think it is a new car that's being advertised. To further muddy the waters, right next to the $14,977 ad is one for a $99 lease. Well, first of all, you don't lease used cars, so $99 lease has got to be a new car. So that sews it up, and that's how it's very, very diabolical and clever.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. When you click on the ad, you're taken to the new vehicle specials page.
Yep.
Now, if this isn't deception, premeditated, I don't know what is. I envision the Palm Beach Toyota advertising agency and the general sales manager and the general manager, and they're all getting there and they're discussing this ad. And this thing they spent a lot of time coming up with this. It is very good. Well, I don't want to say it's illegal at this point. Let's wait till we finish the advertisement. Okay. Now you go to the new vehicles page, and if you missed the pre-owned, you're really duped. The very fine print reads, offer valid on pre-owned 2020 Corolla LE. The very fine print. Original MSRP $20,895. Example stock number, and they give you the hashtag LP005724. Taxes, title, registration, administrative fees, dealer fees, $999.95 are not included. So I'll just stop there briefly. Advertised price, $999.95, and administrative dealer fees, which is a little over $100 too, 150, something like that.
Yeah.
Not included. Now, Florida law says, and I have this in one of my blogs, Florida law says, where am I here?
You're at the radio station studio, sir.
Yeah. At any rate, I'm going to have to paraphrase it because I can't find the highlighted thing there. Florida law says that you have to include any dealer fees by any name in the advertised price. Include it. It doesn't say you can disclose it in the fine print and say it's added later. It says you have to include it in the advertised price. So this is a violation of Florida law right there. Not to mention the rest of it, which is...
But everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Where am I here? Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. Agent Thunder went in to investigate this. I'm speaking the first person as if I were Agent Thunder. I arrived at Palm Beach Toyota, Congress and Southern Boulevard in West Palm Beach around 5 p.m., backed into a parking spot, walked toward a large front entrance framed by a large illuminated archway. A salesperson was sitting on the bench near the door, jumped to his feet when he saw me approach. He introduced himself as Luis and asked, or perhaps Lewis, L-U-I-S, asked what brought me in. I said I was helping my wife find a new car, and she'd seen Palm Beach Toyota's ad for a new 2020 Corolla for $14,977. So I said, my wife saw this ad for a new Corolla, 2020, for $14,977. Luis said, without blinking an eye, he could help me and asked me to come inside. He said he'd like to show me around first. It took me to the service lounge area to point out the coffee machine and the smartphone chargers. He walked me back to the new car area and explained the whole dealership was brand new. Walked me back to the new car area. We sat at a table and made small talk for a few minutes. Luis seemed like he was avoiding something. Finally, he said, now listen to this carefully. We're shopping Palm Beach Toyota, Congress and Southern Boulevard, Luis the salesman. At this point, Luis says that he seemed like he was wanting something. He said he needed to be honest with me, and he said they didn't have the car at the advertised price.
I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. Now, I came in and said, my wife saw the ad for the new 2020 Corolla for $14,997. Nothing was said then. And after the coffee machine and the tour of the dealership, he says, I've got to be honest with you. I asked him what he meant, that they didn't have it. Luis told me that they technically have it. I mean, technically we have it, but it's just one car. It's so we can run the ad. It's there to get people in. When people come in to see the car, we show them other options.
Well,
Now
that's
here's a
fair
salesman.
statement.
Yeah, here's a salesman, Luis, who is forced to deceive customers, and he's ingratiating himself to the customer who happens to be me, the mystery shopper, and not really me, but Agent Thunder. He went on to say that this 2020 Corolla was a rental car, Toyota rental car, TRAC.
Called it a track car.
Call it a track car, Toyota rental. And they said it was a loaner car with about 5,000 miles. Now, I asked him if it was really a 2020 model, and he said it was. I told him I wasn't surprised about the ad being phony. I said I'd come to expect this sort of thing from car dealerships. Luis agreed that this was indeed the way it was, just the way it is. And
the way we were.
We see this in a lot of car dealerships. Luis, honest guy, I mean, not really, but forced into dishonesty to make a living.
Honest about the dishonesty.
He was honest about the dishonesty. Yeah. And that sounds funny, and it is funny, but it happens in a lot of dealerships. By the way, in the rental car, this is insider knowledge because I am a Toyota dealer, and in the Toyota rental car system, when you put the car into rental service, you cannot take it out without a penalty. You must keep it in for 4 months.
You can sell it, but you'll get a charge back.
You get a charge back. You're penalized. Yeah. So the car never was intended to be sold,
right.
And they advertised a car that they knew they couldn't sell,
and they knew it wouldn't be there.
And they knew it wouldn't be there, and that was to bait. You cast out with your good-looking lure,
tasty,
and, like this,
tasty bait.
And slam them, and you pull it in, and then you switch them to something that you can sell. This is really terrible. Really terrible. Palm Beach Toyota on Congress and Southern Boulevard.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very, they have a huge inventory.
Huge inventory.
Why would they advertise just one car?
Yeah, and exactly. And they do a huge amount of advertising. And anyway, I said he may have a deal anyway. I'm, leading Luis on. $14,977 still sounds good, and it's crazy good because we're telling you right now, being Toyota dealers, we know that $18,000 would be a doozy, a really good low price. So I'll buy a used car, 2020 Corolla, for $14,977. And it was an LE, by the way, even if it had a few miles on it. I asked if I could see it. Let me see that rental car. He came back shortly and said he was sorry, but it wasn't available.
Wah, wah, wah.
It may have been rented out. As I said before, they would have been penalized.
This is the point when a real shopper is supposed to leave, by the way.
Yeah.
But thunder pressed on.
Exactly. It wouldn't go like this. Yeah. But we were torturing Luis. I asked him if he had any other 2020s, Corollas. Luis said he had a ton of those, but they were all new. And he couldn't do the $14,977. But he said he would totally hook me up. He said he could probably get $4,500 off the MSRP. I acted surprised, told him I'd like to see that on paper. Luis left to get the numbers, returned with a worksheet, showed the price breakdown. The MSRP on this 2020 new Corolla LE was $21,667. He showed a $4,500 discount, which brought my sale price to $17,167. Then he added, here we go, a $999.95 pre-delivery service charge, which is a dealer fee. As I just quoted earlier in this, Florida law requires that this be included in the advertised price. Was not included. And there's also an administration fee that's not even being mentioned, and it's not even on the worksheet. This made my actual selling price $18,166, and my out the door price was $19,772 and $722. And remember, we came in on a $14,977 car.
We got switched.
Yeah. This ad was pure bait and switch. It was designed to blur the lines between new and used cars, and it successfully did that, and made it appear they were selling new 2020 Corollas for $14,977. Yes, this was a disclosure in the fine print, but that's not what people see or remember. Now, you'll see this ad. All you have to do is turn your TV on in the Martin County, Palm Beach County, probably northern Broward County area. And we're still running this ad. We shopped it the other day. You'll see the ad tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and they don't have the car.
Yeah, go to palmbeachtoyota.com. It's right on the main page.
Yeah,
you don't have to search for it, so that's the headline.
So, and you'll see some great prices there on palmbeachtoyota.com. Great prices. The problem is you can't buy the cars for the advertised prices.
And mentally add about $1,200 to every price you see.
Yeah, and they're very successful. This is painful for me to think about how successful a car dealership can be when they lie, cheat, and steal. And they advertise cars they won't sell and can't sell, wouldn't sell if they could sell. And people fall for it. It's a sad situation.
They are currently on our recommended dealer list right now.
Yeah.
They are.
They are. Okay, folks, we need some votes, and we've finished. Mr. Scheibengort. Stu has flashed up his text votes.
We have the grades coming in. Edward gives him an F. D gives him an F. Lenny gives him an F. I don't have Linda's grade, but she predicted at the beginning of the report that she's ready to give a huge F. Oh, wait, I got a face palm emoji coming in from Linda. I bet you any second we're going to see huge fat F. Linda, I'm going to speak for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. Huge fat F from Linda.
Okay.
I concur.
Nancy, you got any votes over there?
Sure. First, I have to say to our listeners that getting car buyers in the door is limitless, and our mystery shop today proved that. And I don't like being deceived. I don't like being taken advantage of. So therefore, I give them an F.
Rick?
Well, so far we've got Give Me $5 says F. Ernesto says an F. Mark Smith from Iowa is giving him a D.
A D.
He's being lenient this week.
Yeah.
And myself, I got to give him the F. I mean, it's just too blatant.
Yeah, I'm going to, I have an anonymous feedback person that says, how come I don't ever vote? I should vote, and maybe you missed a couple of my votes, but I'm going to give them a big F. I think this is so egregiously deceptive. I normally don't fail car dealers for deceptive advertising, but this goes over the hump in deception, and so I give them an F. Stu, what about your votes?
I'm concurring with I'm going with the consensus with an F. We did have a couple came in. Amy gives them an F, and Ed gives them a D. Very generous, Ed.
And Mark Anderson is saying D for the semi-honest salesman. Mark from St. Louis.
I see the point there. This is true, and I feel bad about Luis because he needs a job, probably. He needs to earn a living. And when he got into Palm Beach Toyota, they said, look, when customers come in, just lie to them and tell them, I'll take care of you, and then spring it on them that this is a used car. And if they say they want to buy it, just tell them we don't have it anymore.
Tell you, it just takes the wind out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Earl Stewart on Cars. I see, according to the clock, we have 1 minute left. That mystery shop came to you from Palm Beach Toyota, and I have to thank Stu for his, ingenious way that he does this every week, and where he shines in a lot of places, but this is so important to get out to the consumer, and he does it. The wording is, I'll say he's reached perfection.
I'm a scribe.
And tune in next week, if you would, and we'll be right here, Earl Stewart on Cars at 8 a.m. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.